I really like architecture. In fact, I love architecture. I'm an architecture man. And there was this architect that built this home, and it went up for sale in the town that I know. And in order to get this home, I had to borrow, I had to spend all the money I didn't have to get my family into this home. It's truly a piece of art, and I wanted my youngest son, who's 5 years old now, I wanted him to grow up inside an art piece. And that's what he's been able to do. But let me tell you the story really quick. I found this house. It had been on the market for less than an hour. I'm out in Tennessee, super pregnant wife. She's kind of losing her mind. As is customary, you know, I understand my job's there to be there to take care of her and tell her she's right. So anyways, this home comes up on the market, and right away I make the phone call to my agent out in California. I said, this is the house. And she says, okay. So she's there with the contractor, 8 a.m. the very next morning. And they're doing a walkthrough. It turns out, I told her, I said, what do you think? How does it look structurally? Because it's a very old house, and it's really beat down. She says, I think this is a good investment. I said, I love that home. And I said, well, put the offer in, please. And in my mind, thinking like, how am I going to get the money to do this? But as an artist, that's what we do. We walk around thinking somebody else is going to pay for it. So anyways, I said, can you put the offer in? And she goes and she tries to put the offer in on the house, and the realtor tells her, says, the family is not taking offers for 1 more week. Turns out, this special home, they grew up there. There were 3 kids. They were the trustees of this home. And their mother had just passed away that year. But those kids grew up there in that house. And so as soon as I found out that they weren't taking offers, immediately I got to work. I sent them a full-page letter explaining to them why I needed to live in that house, because it's a piece of art, and how vital art is to everything that I am. My imagination and my creativity, it's paid for the food in my kids' bellies, educations, everything. Actually, you paid for that. Thank you. So listen. So then I'd send them pictures. I send them a full page full of links to check out, where I'm talking about the importance of art, a couple of performances. I'm just trying to make myself look really good. So anyways, a week goes by, we got outbid by like $200,000 cash. This is not gonna happen, there's no way. So then I'm back to looking for houses, and I was really heartbroken. I felt something very special when I saw this place. So then a week later, my agent calls me, and she says, you're never gonna guess who called it. It's the kids that are selling this house. They wanna know if you can go any higher. And I'm like, fuck no, I can't go any higher, there's no way. And she said, well, they really wanted you to live there. And I said, well, that's great, but the house is just another thing in this world I cannot afford. So, but I kind of felt good, thinking somebody out there would maybe take less money to do something cool. It made me feel good. It put a spring in my step as I was out looking for the wrong house at that point. So anyways, 2 weeks go by. And I get another call. She says, you're never gonna guess who called me. My agent calls me and she says, it's that family again. They wanna know, are you sure? And I said, absolutely, I can't go any higher. And their agent knew that the seller was bypassing their agent and calling my person directly. And because of that, the cash buyer hiked it up another $100,000 out of my reach. It was already totally out of my reach, but then they just did that like, because I guess that's what people who have a bunch of money do. So anyways, heartbroken. 3 more weeks go by. My agent calls me again. You're never going to guess. And she says they want you to buy the house. So, this shit doesn't happen. This doesn't happen in real life. But it happened to me. And so, fast forward 2 months, the child is born. I have to get my family out to California, losing blood, everything, just like it said, you know, in the song. I packed my whole family up, dogs, cats, everything. And we got out there. And right away, as soon as we got into the house, I had to stay up all night unloading boxes and everything. I called the head trustee. I said, hey man, I finally want to speak with you. I want to thank you and your brother and your sister for what you did for my family. And he says, yeah, it's really interesting. I could tell he was kind of like, yeah. And he says, we all watched your videos and we read your letter. They later found out you should never do that. And he says, I watched one of the videos and my brother and my sister watched it too. And I was playing this dulcimer in that video. It was at the Traverse City Opera House. And I was singing this song here. And I said, he goes, you were playing a lap dulcimer, right? He says, yes, yeah, that's a dulcimer. And he says, do you know who John Jacob Niles is? Fuck, yes I do. That guy is a huge influence on me. John Jacob Niles is one of the old, like the folk movement throughout the late 50s into the early 60s. He was the guy. He sang super high pitched, and he played homemade lap dulcimers. And he went all around through Appalachia, through the South, through the mining camps, and he collected people's songs to immortalize them so they wouldn't be forgotten. So he says, so you know John Jacob Niles? I says, yes, he's a big, big deal in my life. And he says, that was my mother's uncle. And it was her favorite person, and she was his favorite. And as soon as we saw you playing the lap dulcimer and hearing you sing that high, lonesome tone, we knew right then and there that we had to sell you the house, but we tried not to. So, this is how it goes. That's quite a story, right? Okay. And it was this song I was playing in the video. You guys can sing on the chorus if you want. I set my shoes at your door, and I've come to know you. Tell me about your day, give me every
aside this time for us to bring a brilliance to this faith. Give me your sword and shield and let me stare at your face. There is beauty everywhere, but you've got to get out of your own way. Allow yourself the comfort of others and relish in the secret sweetness that is unique to every day. Balance on your beam. You turn the flips to please your crowd, and when you hit the floor, showing your practice fall, you look for that perfect score that will tell you you can be proud. Dam to hold the stream. You'll break your back to pan this gold, 24 karat mine. So what did you think you'd find? Don't trade it for shining things that will clip wings in your soul. There is beauty everywhere, but you've got to get out of your own way. Allow yourself the comfort of others and relish in the secret sweetness, that secret sweetness that is unique to it. Now there is beauty everywhere. You get out of your own way. Allow yourself to comfort others, and you relish in the secret sweetness, that secret sweetness. There is beauty everywhere. You get out of your own way. Allow yourself the comfort of others and relish in this secret sweetness, that secret sweetness that is unique to you. It's unique to every